Hello, Facebook. Well, not Facebook. YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Let's see if you can hear me. Can you hear me? All right. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. I use this mic. Discovering. It's discovering.
Your device is connected.
So I use this mic normally at home. I like hearing myself. So I basically use the mic to hi, the camera for YouTube is over here. So I'm just gonna go live everywhere. It's time to go live. Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Hi, YouTube. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just being funny. So I bought this new deck, this new card deck, and it's called Isis Oracle, right, from Egypt. Right, YouTube, when I look this way, my computer is here, but the camera is over here. So I bought this new Oracle deck, and then this is what we are going to use today. I am not a tarot reader, right? I don't do the spread. What I usually do is pick one card and then we break it down and have a conversation about it. I don't like, yeah, here we go. I forgot one of my headphones. All right, let's go. Let's go. Right, so I am not a tarot reader. I don't read tarot cards. This is just a tool that I use to start conversations for us to be able to have a conversation about healing, about health and wellness, about well-being, because generally that's what I do, right? I talk about health, wellness, well-being, healing generational trauma, healing, just healing whatever pain that we've been through, because I have been through it and I have experienced it. And so one of the things that I prayed for when I was going through my own dark night of the soul, right? No audio? No audio? You can't hear me? TikTok? You can't hear me? Can't hear me. Can somebody else put in the chat? Oh, well, they can't hear me and I am talking to them. Isn't that funny? 1 second. Let me see this. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now, YouTube? Hello, Nosayam. Welcome, welcome. My daughter was very adamant about wearing the shirt. And so I was going to talk about it, and I'm glad that you came by. Okay, you can hear me now. That's wonderful. So they can hear me now on TikTok. Um, let me put the AC on because me too. Okay. All right. So we have this going, and everybody, I am wearing a brand by Nos I Am, and she's right here on Instagram. You can find her on every platform, right? And as I was saying, I wanted to talk to her, but I don't know if she dropped off. Audio isn't broadcasting. I don't know why. You are there, no, I am. Give me a second, because in YouTube, not YouTube. I talk like my grandmother now. Facebook said they cannot hear me. So I'm going back there. Hopefully it's working now. So my daughter was very adamant today, right? No, I am. I got dressed. I'm waiting for hair to come. And so I got dressed today, and then she came in and said, "Where is the black shirt with the diamond? You are not wearing it." I said, "Well, today is not the day for me to wear it." She's like, "No, you have to wear it." I told her, "Okay, great Sunday, great Sunday." So she took it out of my closet and she gave it to me. So I said, "Okay, so tell me, what do you like about this shirt?" And she said, "Well, it has the diamond, and so it shines, right? It shines like the sun. And also she likes the gold and the setup of it." She's like, "You have to wear it every day." She's standing right here looking at me say this. And so we'll see about it, because I generally usually follow uh, what she is saying and what she is thinking, because I have learned that signs come in different ways, and our children are not just, oh my God, Facebook went off. Oh, it's back. Hello, I love this shirt. It's back. Facebook is back. Everybody, I'm sorry. Give me a second. I made a new setup and I'm trying to understand what I'm doing. I'm so fascinated. Okay. All right. No, so I am like I was saying, right? I have learned that one thing that I have learned on my journey, a very intelligent young lady. Just before we start, everybody, sorry. Hi, Queen. Hey, baby girl. I have to speak to the brand owner. One thing that I have learned along my journey is that signs and messages come from different places. And one thing that I have noticed as well is that my daughter, I listen to her intently, like a human being, not just like my child. So there are certain things that she tells me, I go, huh, I didn't think about that. But the fact that she really likes the shirt, and she's like, you should wear this shirt every single day, right? Because the diamond, it shines like the sun. These are words that I didn't give her. So we'll figure out how it's going to go. Okay, bye-bye. Go. I already spoke to her. All right, everybody. Now we're gonna talk. Now we're gonna get into the cards. Like I said, I am not a tarot reader. I don't read tarot. Cards are just a tool for us to connect, for us to start a conversation, right? So this is a way of just us healing and getting to know each other, right? I am a businesswoman. I'm not a tarot reader. And so when you click the link in my bio, you will see what I do. But yesterday, I was very much inspired by all the Gambians that came on my TikTok. So, what I did is I reopened my Telegram group because I know that some of the people, especially on TikTok, that are from the Gambia, and I know some of them are on Facebook now, like Bona Diallo. You know, you've known me in the Gambia. I was in GRTS, which is the Gambia Radio and Television Services. I worked there for 2 years. Hi, sis. Hello, hello. Beautiful background. Thank you, thank you. And so I have had people, hey, Brittany, that's my coach, Coach Brittany Turner, the new rich girl, the newly nominated, newly elected rich girl, because we're going to make that money, right? So for the, I love you too, Bona. Thank you so much. But for a long time, I thought that, you know, Gambians did not like me because, girl, I used to have death threats under my Instagram, my old Instagram account, my pictures. But I reopened my Telegram group, right? Yes, we are. Because a lot of the Gambians, especially a lady yesterday, came by and was like, the things that you're talking about, I am so grateful that I found you and you are a Gambian and you're talking about these things. And she's been going through her own trauma and her own pain. Like Brittany, just like the video that you posted today, the singing, right? Talking about how when you were homeless, and now it's like, I know how that feels, right? I know how it feels to be homeless. I know how it felt to not have money, to not have food, to not have furniture. I have been there, right? So when this lady said that, she is so grateful to find me as a Gambian woman talking about the things that I'm talking about. I was like, oh my God, let me reopen my Telegram group. Because one of the things that I spoke about yesterday, and I think we talked about this too, Brittany, is that for most of us, Coach Stormy is the first Black woman that spoke about these things. And we're like, oh, there's somebody who looks like me who's talking about this. And I have goosebumps, right? Because I said that about Coach Stormy. And to sit here yesterday for somebody to say, oh my God, you are a Gambian woman. I haven't heard this from anybody. And you're talking about this. It's fascinating for me. So I reopened my Telegram group. Hi, Nene Tuti. I wonder who is this Nene Tuti. I call my daughter Nene Tuti. So I reopened my Telegram group. And what I will be doing is I have had a lot of resources by myself, but also when I say Brittany Turner, that's my coach, right? In Total Life Changes, in Girl Hold My Hand. And so the resources that I have found that has helped me along the way, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, right? What I will be doing is I'll be posting it in my Telegram group. Because like I said, and I also heard Coach Stormy talk about this, and it's absolutely beautiful, right? And Brittany, you know what's amazing? Coach Stormy went back to Nigeria, as in going back home. And before I came to Girl Hold My Hand, I had no idea that Coach Stormy was Jamaican. And for me, going back home means going to Jamaica, going to the Rastafarian community, the Nyabingi, the 12 tribes, meeting them. That would be my going back home. Isn't that fascinating? It's not even a coincidence, right? And so, before we start today, join the Telegram group. I'll be sharing everything I learned and everything I knew. Nene, oh, Nene is your friend, Boon. Oh, nice. I'm happy seeing a Gambian talking about childhood trauma. You're very welcome. I've been, how can you join? How can you join what? The Telegram group? If it's the Telegram group, you are on my TikTok now, right? So there's a link in my bio. there. Yes, there's a link in my bio on TikTok, and you can just click on that link, right? It's a Beacons AI / Oracles Place. And then the fourth thing that you see is join my Telegram group, Liberate Yourself from Mental Slavery, right? And you can join. It's a free group. Obviously, I will share the stuff that I sell, but predominantly anything that I watch or listen to or any resources that I get during the day, I will just share it over there for anybody who wants to, right? So we will do that. Hello, hello, YouTube. I speak like my grandmother now because she makes mistakes. I just like your accent. Beautiful. Thank you. I wish I could hear my accent. I like my accent too, but I can't hear it. Just getting my multivitamin in. So the Isis Oracle is what we are going to pick a card from, right? It arrived yesterday. Again, I'm not a tarot reader. I just use the cards as a tool. I saw this from other ladies who use the cards as tool for healing trauma, to just start a conversation. So that's what I would use it for. And wherever you're finding me, wherever you're watching me, you will see that everything I post and everything I talk about relates to healing generational trauma, right? Because even if you see me posting about history, Black history, African history, that's part of generational trauma, because some of us, the energy you are given is so positive for some reason. Really? Really? Thank you, Bona. Thank you. This is actually me on a regular basis, right? This is me on a regular. This is me always. I have had to walk, towards making sure that this energy is a whole lot more strong than it was. Because believe it or not, some people don't believe it, especially the people that knew me through fashion. They don't believe that I was born and raised in a very traumatizing, toxic, chaotic, drama filled environment, right? But I've always smiled, I've always been happy. Even when I was depressed, a lot of people did not know that I was depressed. And I'll tell you something, whenever you see somebody who is too independent, right? Don't count trauma out of that. Whenever you see somebody who is looking good and well dressed and speaks articulately, don't discount that they possibly could be depressed or filled with trauma or anxious. Because I was all of these things, but still, a lot of people thought she doesn't need help. She is fine. She's very independent. And I was like, I'm dying. You are, oh, Nene Tuti. Okay, tell me. Yeah, traumatized people looks like most, yes. Yes. Tell me, Nene Tuti, before we pick the card. Tell me. Yes, right? Because a lot of people think that if you do a lot of things on your own, that's because you don't want people to help you. And that is not so. That's usually because one, either you don't know how to ask for help, or as a child, when you ask for help, there are so many questions, or you are just always forgotten. Like for me, at home, I always felt ignored. So there were a lot of things that I had to do for myself. Yeah, I didn't know how to ask for help because I couldn't ask for help. So a lot of things I had to do on my own. And so when I and I grew up getting used to always shut down during childhood. Exactly. That is also my experience. And so when I grew up, I'm just going to, let me give you a secret. The people that say that Africa is hotter than America, that is not true. America is hot. It's humid. They did a lot to us without knowing. Yeah. So it's the unconscious parenting, right? There's a book, I'll share it in Telegram. I always talk about this. So all the books that I talk about, I'll put them in my Telegram group. There's a book called The Conscious Parent. The Conscious Parent. Just the author of the book, right? Even if you don't buy the book, but following the works of the author of the book. She is a psychologist, Dr. Shafali. I always talk about her because I have read so much and followed a lot of her work to understand why my family was the way that they were, right? And so we have unconscious parents. And for me particularly, one of my goals, right, is to predominantly speak to African women, especially Africans on the continent, right, who have never heard anybody talk to them about these things, right? Most of us don't know what love is. This still affects me because I don't know if I truly love someone. That is because, hello, Giselle. Look what I bought, Giselle. You will like this. I bought the Isis Oracle card. So that's the one we are doing today. You've always asked me about Oracle. I'm getting the cards now. And so this is the one we are doing. Yeah, so it's like if you were raised, right, in a family where you've never seen anybody show each other love, healthy love. I have never seen that. And as women, right, most of us, especially, right, the people that I'm talking to now are from the Gambia, West Africa. I'm so glad you ladies found me. Most of us have never seen our parents or our aunties take care of themselves, take care of their femininity. We've never seen that. We have never seen a woman. I'm not talking about the traumatized woman who's taking care of everybody in the house but themselves. Peter John. Right? I'm not talking about the woman that's taking care of everybody in the house but themselves. I'm talking about women who take the time to love themselves, to take care of themselves, to show love to themselves. The only reason, Nana Tuti, you don't know how to truly love, which I don't know either, or I didn't know, I'm a whole lot better at it now, was that I was surrounded by women, but they didn't love themselves. They took care of everybody. We talked about people pleasing, right? The traits that I saw my own mother have. Now, this is deep because, like I said, the people watching me mostly on TikTok are Gambians, and my mother is still alive. And in the Gambia, everybody knows each other. But I told my mother this. I told her that the traits that everybody was praising her about, oh, your mother is so good, oh, your mother is so nice, oh, your mother this, and that. What we didn't know was that those traits are basically people pleasing, just like what you are saying, Tuti. Absolutely. We are only taught about how to take care of a man. And we don't even know how to take care of a man. Because you don't know how to take care of a man if you don't know how to take care of yourself. Right? And it's not necessarily taking care of the man, it's slaving for the man. That is what we have been taught. Because as a woman, if you cannot take care of yourself, your own health and well-being, you cannot take care of a man, right? The only way you can take care of a man, and nobody can take care of a man either. That's another trauma that we have. Because men, at least in the way that I was raised, and tell me if that is so for you too, right? I am Hadi, by the way. All right, Hadi. Welcome, Hadi. But let's use Nene Tuti. I love Nene Tuti. Like I said, I call my daughter Nene Tuti. I don't know about you, but for me, the way that I was raised was that men were not humanized in my eyes. And I know some men have gone through this where women are not humanized in their eyes. Women are objectified. In the same way, some of us women went through that. I went through that, where men are objectified and not necessarily humanized. You might ask, what is the difference? When somebody is humanized in your eyes, you see the soul of the person, you see the spirit of the person, right? It is something that I had to learn. So now anybody I come across, anybody I talk to, I can feel you on a deeper level than just looking at you as, and when I make that face, you know what that means, right? You look at people like, that person. Or you're looking at what can you get from them? Can I get money from them? Can they do this for me? Even friendships, it's transactional. It's not on a soul level. And this is the way that I was taught to look at men, right? Buy you a big house, buy you a car. Somebody got married in the neighborhood, and my mother and my grandmother would sit me down and say, you see, Dew Sangam. Who are the Wolofs here? Dew Sangam. That means somebody just got married. The husband bought them a car. The husband bought them a house. What are you waiting for? Right? Or this is the kind of man that you need to have. Which is, yes, which is absolutely wonderful. But along my journey, I realized that that is not all that men are good for. Right? But also the people who were teaching us to do these things, they themselves are not either happy in their marriage. Because I know my mother's not happy in her marriage. They're being abused in their marriage. They don't know the power of femininity, right? One of the people that has really helped me along that route, and I'll start sharing her videos and Telegram. I always talk about her, is Shira7. Ashra Goddess. You can find her on YouTube. She's mostly on YouTube. Although older than me, of course, probably 7 or 10 years, but looks very young, right? But she talks about the power of the feminine woman, how to talk to your man, your spouse, your boyfriend, right? Why people demonize the idea of women being gold diggers, and why the actual definition of gold digging is actually not real. That's not a thing. But also how to be in a healthy, thriving marriage and relationship. It's very masculine because that's all what I know. It's very masculine, and she talks about that too, the power of the feminine and the masculine energies, and how to just understand yourself as a woman, right? So generally I join her lives a lot. I'm not part of any of her groups, so if you go find her and join, and I don't get any commission or anything, but I know Ashra Goddess, Shira7, has really shifted my mindset, which are things that I wanted to change about how I saw myself, how I spoke to men, how I dealt with men, right? But most importantly, how I dealt with myself as a woman. Because one of the things that I always ran away from, I try to be soft, but I can. Well, welcome. Welcome home. You'll be softer than soft. But we do both, right? It's not necessarily being soft or necessarily being masculine. It's just a matter of healing and just going back to who we truly are, deep within ourselves, right? Before your mother called you Hattie, you like my mannerism. Oh, thank you. Right, Hattie, Nene Tuti, right? I talk about how I've mentioned this before, so hence you just join in. Let me explain this fact to you of what exactly we are doing and what my goal is. My mission statement personally is that my goal is to create a home for people who never felt at home. We can be soft, and it's absolutely wonderful to be soft, but what we are doing here is not being soft or being masculine. It's going back to who we are or who we really are before the world told us who we are supposed to be. What does that mean? Right? That means that I'll take you as an example, Hadi. And I wish I could speak Wolof more, but then I have different people watching. I'll throw in the Wolof. Hadi, right? When you were born, and I've talked about this, when you came into this world, when your mother gave birth to you, you did not come with your name, Hadi. Your mother or your father decided to call you that name. And wherever you're watching me from, this could be you as well. If your name is, like one of the bots that I have, Peter John, if your name is Peter, if your name is Giselle, right? Whatever your name is, when you were born, you did not come to this world or on this earth with your name on your forehead. At some point, when your parents were wanting a child, trying to have a child, or a long term goal, or whatever it is, they decided that your name is going to be Hadi. So when you were born, they called you Hadi. I think a woman who is hard has been hurt but afraid to be themselves, and so it becomes a habit. That is true as well. Tyrone. You better call Tyrone. You know that song by Erica Badu? But like I was saying, right? We didn't come with our names. Our parents decided at some point to call us those names. And then we identified with that name. Most people, especially from TikTok, but now Instagram as well, from the Gambia, they knew me as Fire, Fire Faye. Fire as the Jamaican way of spelling it, Fyah, Fire Faye. A lot of people identify me with that, but for a long time, my personality and my way of being, I identified that with that name. So you forget yourself, you forget who you are. Right, Hadi? You forget who you are, given that when you came into this world, you were a clean slate, pure, innocent. I'm not talking about purity as in whatever it's called in religious, no. But as a child, when a child comes into the world, they're a clean canvas, right? They don't have all these ideas and beliefs that we have. So wherever you were born, your parents began to put into you the ways of being. This is the religion you are supposed to have. This is the language you are supposed to speak. And then we're taken to school. In most parts of the world, the curriculum in school is what? Is headed by white supremacy. White supremacy is not necessarily white people. is the difference, is the idea of white superiority. And that is in Africa, that's in all around the world. So school put in ideas into us. So as a child from 0 to 7 years old, if you study adverse childhood experiences, you will understand that from 0 to 7 or from 0 to 8, hello Lamin Kante, I am doing beautiful and looking gorgeous, right? From 0 to 7 and 0 to 8, whatever ideas is around you in your environment, in your community, whatever ways that your parents think, act, and behave, those are the things you're going to adopt. Whatever narrative they have about the world, however they see the world, that is the way they're going to teach you to see the world and to see yourself as. That doesn't necessarily mean that's who you are. Who you are is neutral, right? Who you are is neutral. Anger is healthy. Stress is healthy. Look at a child. Watch a child. When they're angry, they're angry. When they're happy, they're happy. When they're sad, they're sad. When they want to cry, they cry. That is who we are. So when it comes to um, from racism, from the stereotypes of women, right? From this construct of race and skin color, because that's a construct that a lot of people don't know. The construct of God, of what God is supposed to be in any religion, by the way, in any religion, right? All of these are ideas that are handed down, which is why understanding what breaking generational curses are, healing generational trauma, because I know in a lot of religions, they tell you that, oh, when you think about your ancestors or talk to your ancestors or go back to your ancestors, then you are worshiping people, you are worshiping whatever, whatever. But the blood of our ancestors is in us, right? Because for it has to be our, who are our ancestors? My grandmother who passed away this year is an ancestor. She's one of my ancestors. So our grandmothers, great grandmothers, great great grandmothers, and it goes back and it goes back all the way to slavery and before slavery. Our lineage, our heritage, our bloodline, these are exactly who our ancestors are. So you're not worshiping, right? And so I also talk about African spirituality, because African spirituality is generally honoring the ancestors. Who are our ancestors? Our bloodline, which is why it is said that when you heal yourself, you heal your ancestors. Exactly who I am. Okay. Right? Okay, let's go. If not, I can keep talking forever. But I'm open to any questions. So what I normally do, I would say, ask your question, what it is that you want to know. Yes, you have their DNA, their teachings, and your respect. Exactly, Tyrone. Better call Tyrone. Ask your question. What is it you want to hear today? What message do you want to know? You love listening to me. Oh, thank you. What is it you want to know? This is a new card deck, right? So the wisdom might be a little bit heavy. So I'll do my best to break it down. And anything I don't know, I'll look it up, I'll study it, and then whenever we come back, we'll talk about it, right? Because I don't have the answers and I don't know everything. And I am learning as well as I go. And I'm glad that somebody finds what I'm saying to be healing. Hello, Lamin Kaba Abanyadi. Abedi. What kind of reading do I do? In terms of the cards, Hi, Dwight Johnson. In terms of the card, it's necessary. It is actually no reading at all. So I just shuffle the cards. One card falls off, and then that will be the message of the day. Hello, and then we read it and just talk about it. Again, it's just a mode of connection, and it's something that I love. The card that comes off will be the card for all of us, right? So it's always a collective thing. Hi, Cisse Mori. Let me hear your understanding. All right, Dwight. Tell me your understanding as well. Okay, let me pay attention. Let's see. The cards are stuck together. I just received them yesterday. Should I pick one? Yes or no? Should I pick one instead? Yes. Oh, I lost the card. Let me find it. There's a card that stood out to me. Ah, maybe that's the card. Talismans of Potency. This card stood out. So this is the oh no. This is the Isis Oracle deck. So let's read it and see what it says. And break it down, and that will be our message or card of the day. Talismans of Potency. Sacred tools and objects can become an extension of your energy field. Fascinating. I was just talking about how the cards are just a tool that I use to start a conversation. Isis was my wife in my past life. I was Isis. Beautiful. Sacred tools and objects can become an extension of your energy field, focusing your power and intention, helping you heal the split between spirit and matter, bringing physical matter more deeply into light and life. You are encouraged to work with sacred materials in a conscious way to help your own healing and enjoyment of the material world as part of your spiritual practice. What did you pick up from there? Tell me what you picked up from there. Should I read it again? Because I would love to hear from you first, right? It helps me heal and lead my journey with wisdom. Yes, exactly. Yes. Anybody? Let me read it again. Talismans. And just recently on Twitter, somebody told me that talismans are demonic and actually unfollowed me on Twitter. This Muslim guy, and I'm like, I'm Muslim too, right? And it was like, oh, talismans are haram. We don't use it in Islam. But talismans are deeply rooted in African spirituality and African culture. Talismans of potency, sacred tools. These are sacred tools. Crystals are sacred tools for channeling your energy. Sacred tools. The oracle deck is a sacred tool for your own energy. You saw me lighting sage, right? Rosemary. These are sacred tools that you can use for your own energy. Buddhism has been my guide for 50 years. I am a shaman healer. Beautiful. That's wonderful. I love Buddhism. I have lived in a monastery as well, in a temple. So sacred tools and objects can become an extension of your energy field. When you do rituals, right? The ritual is itself is not casting the spell. The ritual is a sacred tool because you use different objects, you use different things as a way of healing yourself. This card is pretty deep. Sacred tools and objects can become an extension of your energy field, focusing your power and intention, helping you heal the split between spirit and matter. Spirit, who we are, spiritual beings, spirit, and matter more deeply into light and life. You are encouraged to work with sacred materials in a conscious way to help your own healing and enjoyment of the material world as part of your spiritual practice. I have done this, right? I have done this before I got to this point. And okay, let me talk about it. Should I put it this way? Anybody can see. Yeah. Let's talk about this. Right? Hi hearts. What's your name? Why don't you have your name on your profile? It's just hearts. You just came in, you just catch the live, you came right on time. We're about to talk about the card that came out today. And put your name so that when you join, I can call your name. Sacred tools. Let me tell you something. A professional photographer in, oh, where are you? Are you in New York? Maybe we can work together. If you're in Africa, well, when I come to Africa, we can work together. One thing, if we are, if you are from a religious family, I'll send you a DM. Yeah, send me a DM. Both here. Yes, the people say they'll send me a DM. Yes, send me a DM. TikTok, yes, send me a DM. I saw that. Instagram, yes, send me a DM. I read my DMs if it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, I delete the message. So if I don't answer, I deleted your message. If you are from a very religious family, I am from a very religious family, right? And I have seen quite a number of things being done in religious settings. Now, I never considered those things as rituals. I have never considered them as ways of healing or ways of being, but they are. Now, one of the issues that we have for people who look like me is that our very culture that is supposed to heal us has been demonized to the point that we are afraid of the tools, of the sacred tools that our ancestors used. The Gambians who are still here, or anybody else who probably know this, you've probably seen some ladies use cowrie shells. Fair mentality. Petao, kine. Petao, right? So sometimes su fekkee sa yaay wala sa pa wala sa maam dafa bëgg pour ku ko seetal. Exactly. They use petao. Dama dem pour ñu seetal ma. Right now, I as a child have always always had a deep fascination and love for this. I wanted to learn. Okay, Facebook, you can see. I wanted to learn and I wanted to know. Oh my God, you're my West African sister. Welcome. They were used for thousands of years, right? But like many of us, our parents have been made to be scared of these tools. And one thing that I have learned, like yesterday, the person who came here, Peter John, and he was saying that you believe in the cards, don't believe in the cards, right? One thing that I have learned is that the women in the Gambia who were using the petau, it's necessary, it's not the petau themselves. They could read the petau, well, the cowrie shells. Can I say petau? So I keep saying petau. They can use this to read and get the knowledge, right? Get the wisdom that they can share with you that can help you with your life going forward. That, what? The battery is dying. Why? That is the same thing with the cards. Yes, they still are kind of money, right? And so if you understand African spirituality, you know that ancestors and deities like Oya deals with cowrie shells, Oshun deals with cowrie shells. If you love Beyonce and you don't know, Beyonce channels Oshun in most of her videos, right? So there's Oshun, there's Yemaya. Yemaya is goddess of the sea, of the ocean. So these are just tools that you use for the wisdom that they carry and the wisdom that they can give you, that you can help, people in their healing journey. When you go on YouTube, and for the people who are on YouTube, right, there's a lady called Solution Empire, especially for Christians. I'm not a Christian, but I have used her work. Solution Empire is a Christian, right? And she prays with the Bible and all that stuff. But when I go back to the cards about using sacred tools, she uses herbs from your kitchen, from our kitchen. She uses these herbs for healing rituals, right? Because it's not the tools themselves. It helps you channel your energy and it opens your mind. And the more your mind is open, the more that you learn, the stronger you are in your life. And the stronger you are, the more that you heal. So things I have talked about this, things like cinnamon, things like bay leaf, cloves, nutmeg. We have a lot of spiritual women that give herbs to cleanse. Yes. My family home of origin from Congo has passed down. Yes, right? In the Gambia, exactly. There are, let me read it again, especially with the Gambian one. I want to talk about that, right? And Tyrone talked about his origin, his family origin. I'm sorry, these things are falling off. Hello, doctor. Welcome. Thank you for joining me today in this live. I'm trying to figure these things out. We'll fall down. Let me read the prayer that was just posted on Instagram here. I shared one of her prayers that she sent me. May Oludumare, if you don't know Oludumare, look that up. We need to go back to our roots. Start by looking up Oludumare. May Olodumare bless all you lay hands on and grant you all your heart desires. Ashe, Ashe. So I want to talk about that fact, right, in the Gambia. But you have it in all different cultures. So African culture is basically linked with Brazilian culture, Santeria, Candomblé, I think is in Cuba, right? African American voodoo, Haitian voodoo, all of these are connected. But even the idea of voodoo is like, ugh, dealing with the devil, dealing with spirits and killing people and all this stuff. But when you deal with spirits, who are you dealing with? You're dealing with yourself. Because the devil is what? A spirit. But the devil is not something woo-woo out there. It's in us. We are the gods. We are the devils. We're the good and the bad. Sacred tools and objects can become an extension of your energy field, focusing your power and intention, helping you heal the split between spirit and matter, bringing physical matter more deeply into light and life. You are encouraged to work with sacred materials in a conscious way to help your own healing and enjoyment of the material world as part of your spiritual practice. Many of us have been raised in a way that we respect the Western world, the Western ideology, the Western way of being, the Western way of thinking, the Western everything more than our own culture. This is all over the world, right? But I focus on Africa and Africans because that's what I am. And so I was raised around all of these. There's nothing that I'm doing now that is new to me. It's just a matter of me remembering and going back and remembering, oh my God, when I was a child, I used to spend so much time with these women who use the carousels, the petal, right, to channel their wisdom. I was surrounded by them. Hearts, I would call her hearts, right? Talked about the women in the Gambia giving people herbs. You find that in every culture. Women are healers. Women are healers. When did we become feminists and wanting to do everything that men do? Wanting to be like men are. Why have we gotten away from healing our communities, from nurturing our communities? You ladies and gentlemen, really, if you cannot find Ashura Goddess, join my Telegram group. I will 100% share her work, right? When did we stop being healers of our communities, nurturing our communities, right? Handling the well-being of our communities. I am not talking about slaving for the community. I'm not talking about women not having power or anything. Because what we have not been told is the feminine is so powerful, just being in your feminine essence. You cannot do that. Okay, I was not able to do that. I cannot say you cannot do that, but I'm saying I, as a woman, I was not able to do that when I was listening to my mother, constantly looking for a job, 9 to 5, running to the train, running home, no time to rest. I cannot think. I cannot be. I can't take care of myself. I could not be that nurturing healer to anybody. At that point in my life, like the lady said, nobody has ever told me, oh, if I listen to you, it's healing. Because I was more preoccupied with my job, 9 to 5, the rat race. But now even I myself, I'm trying to let that sink in, to let that settle within my being, that I could just walk past a person and they can feel good within themselves. Why? Because of the energy I'm carrying. And I didn't know that. I had to learn it. I had to see it. And because finally I am around women who, when they come on YouTube, they don't have to do much. They can just sit there, hello, hi guys, welcome. And you just feel at home right away. They don't talk much, they don't do much, but just their energy. You want to stay around them. These are the type of women we are from in our communities. That is what Heart is saying, that there are women in the Gambia, but also in so many different cultures, who give you the herbs, tell you which herb to use to heal yourself, to cleanse yourself. For me, right, a lot of people knew me through fashion. For me, that's not new. Because when I looked back into my family and when I remembered what my grandmother used to tell me is that this is what the women used to do in the family. Even some of the men in my family, my great grandparents, we are all using herbs to heal people. The women are using herbs to heal people. My grandmother used food to heal people. The Gamo, people from Banjul or in the Gambia, right? The biggest Gamo in the Gambia, uh, at the Banjul Mosque, before my grandmother passed, she was one of the main cooks of the Gamo every year. They don't pay her to do it. That's where I learned that money can just, when you believe it, because she will start calling people and telling people, and then she'll get tired and she'll be like, we're Muslims. Like, Allah, I leave it with you. Yalla bahna, I'll get the money and we'll be able to cook this because we have to do it every year. And she used food to heal the community. Every year in our house, we will have a huge event for the whole week. People come into our home with their bowls to get food for free. But we have been westernized, myself included, because I had to get away from that ideology, myself included, where we believe so much in the Western ideology. I'm not talking about white people thinking. I'm talking about Western ideas, the idea of civilization, the idea of modernization. Because if it happens in the West, it permeates the world. And then we forget ourselves in the process because we are running to be CEOs of a company. And then you die today. I posted something on my Nextdoor. There's a app, a site called Nextdoor for neighborhoods. I posted something there about somebody who was saying that Their co-worker died, and then the next day, the company is searching and talking about how to replace the co-worker. And somebody commented that when one of her co-workers died, before the co-worker was even buried, the company was looking for her replacement. Life goes on. But our secret tools as women, if we just knew the power that we have to make or break alive just by our energy, the food, the herbs, taxes, Red Diddy. I love Diddy. Let me read these comments. Yes, true women don't know their power just being a woman. Yeah, we just true women are healers in many ways. What we have been told is not really. Question everything you know. Question everything you've been told. Question everything. The things that they've told you about yourself, the things that you've been told about life. Question everything. But first, if you have a television, start by throwing your TV away. Embracing your feminine. Yes, feminine energy. Yes, Miss Marla. Miss Mary. Hi. Taxes. Oh my God. Taxes. 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 You get taxed on everything, even the money that you earn, you get taxed on it. Modernization, civilization. But then we believe it. How many people, right? In the Gambia, we have something called backway. We don't have most of these issues in the Gambia, but some of us, our parents, have believed in the Western world so much. That's how I got here. I would not change any of it because maybe, right? If I didn't take that journey, I wouldn't have the wisdom that I have today to share. But that is how I got here, by the ideas of my parents believing that I have to be here. And I always tell people when I was in the Gambia, I did not know what poverty was. I did not know what hunger was. I experienced poverty, homelessness, and hunger when I came to the United States of America. Never seen homeless people in my life until I came to the United States of America. Culture shock. But if you go to my stories on Instagram, I shared a post by somebody, I think, from Nigeria. And they posted this guy, I forgot the African guy's name. He was saying everybody believes in Africa except Africans. If you ask anybody what's their something plan, they would say Africa. So everybody sees Africa but Africans. And when I say Africans, I'm not just talking about Africans in the continent. I'm talking about anybody with my skin color. Anybody who believes that they are African ancestors, who believes in their African ancestors, right? But also there's the idea of divide and conquer, where even Africans don't want to be Africans. Africans from all over the world. Patriarchy, destroying our lands, greed, money, separation, and no compassion for the people. Know yourself, then that wouldn't be an issue. I don't know. My divine feminine energy is usually not respected and reciprocated. Well, that doesn't matter. Question everything. Okay, so right. So you see what I'm saying, right? I personally too have been through that idea, right? But I always say This is talking about secret tools, using secret tools. Hi, Binka Gasama. This is talking about secret tools. One thing that I learned, when I was at the Zen Center of New York City, right? The Zen Center of New York City. You can look it up and join them. They have their meditation and all of that online as well. And their monastery is in upstate New York. It's called Zen Mountain Monastery. I was there at a time when I had absolutely no money to pay for nothing. One thing that I learned there was for monks and monastics and people who were going to the Zen center and the monastery to get to know themselves, to be in touch with who they are. Basically, the practices that people had to go back to, the practices that people had to learn, were all practices that we already do in the African continent. Half of the stuff that I saw them doing, I was already doing back home. So it didn't really bother me, right? The being in silence. Hello, football lover. I have to stop calling you football lover. What is your name? These were already in the African continent. Oh, one of the things that I wanted to say is that we have been made to believe in the Western idea and the Western world so much. In the Gambia, we have people taking the back way. I don't know if it's in other African countries, so I'm just going to say the Gambia. Oh my God, I've already talked for an hour. I didn't even realize it. Right? So we have people taking the back way. What is the back way? The back way, your name is Isaac. Hi, Isaac. I will remember that, Isaac. Yes, true. People taking the back way, dying on the way to get to Italy, maybe, right? And then there are documentaries about this in Italy, in Spain, how the African men, the black men are being used, even the women, for the economy of these countries. Why? Because we have strayed away from our culture, from the things that we knew. I had to go back to that. I had to go back to understanding all the things that I watched the women do as a child. We had a housekeeper, right? And she was Manjago. Our housekeeper was Manjago. Absolutely loved the lady. I spent most of my time with her because, like I said, my house was traumatized, and anywhere I could go, I would go. One of the people that I used to hang out with is right here, Buba. Hi, Buba. I would run and go to Bacau, to them, to the guys, to their campe. But this lady is from a different tribe, Manjaco. And even her culture, in my eyes, was demonized. It was belittled from my own family, my own home. But they tapped into the spiritual world. They are from Casamas. Who's from Casamas here? Who's from Africa that's from Casamas? I had somebody from Casamas join me one time. And so I'm doing beautiful. That is true. Yeah. And so I watched, all the batteries are dying. Nene, kaya jong ma charger bi. Ma plug ko, battery bi mu nge de. Oh my God, baby girl. And so I watched these ladies from Casamas, the Manjago ladies. I absolutely love them.
Which one?
Bineka sa coffee.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, jamo coffee. Thank you.
La.
You look beautiful.
That's what I wanted to show you. How this is my style that I like.
You look great.
Thank you.
You're from the Gambia, of course. Your name is Oscar, obviously. Oscar. And so I would watch this lady talking to spirit in the Gambia. The ladies are from Casamas. But they're from the Gambia. I'm from the Gambia, but I have been told as I was growing up, even subliminally in my environment in the Gambia, that Casamas is a place to be scared of because they are backward, they deal with spirits, they do voodoo, they do hoodoo. And now going back, I realized that is not true. That is not true. We, the blacks in the Europe, we are going through a lot because we have forgotten who we are. Because Isaac, do you want me to break the idea of football for you? It's because we believe in all these things, right? All our Gambian artists, African artists, the talented African people, the talented African men have all been made to believe in singing and football, distraction. How is it building our African nation? To the people that loved Arsenal and Manchester, I used to be a Manchester fan, so I'm talking to myself as well. What has these things brought to our nation? What has it helped us do? Right? He said, we the blacks in Europe are going through a lot because we left not necessarily the continent, but we left our cultural ways and being. Because as children, we've been told people who are doing this are demons, are evil. We have to run away from them. Last chance, greetings, greetings. Right? In the name of the Imperial Majesty, hey Rastafari. Right? And I was actually going to talk about that. And then there is this greeting, this beautiful Rasta greeting. The battery is dying from here, so I need to figure out a way to charge this. How do I do this now? Forgive me, let me figure out. Right. Right, and thank you for just coming in. The Belgian king and his clerk stated Congo was, yeah. Hearts, what is your name? Please put your name in the chat so I can call you by your name because I don't know what your name is. The Rastafarian culture that I always talk about, right? And I always say that I believe for me going home is going back to Jamaica. It's not even going back. I have never been, but it's going to Jamaica and meeting the Rasta cultures, understanding what Rastafarian is, because that has always been in my heart as a child. But anybody who's watching me knows that the Rastafarian culture has been demonized as well, put down for years. When you have the locks, you cannot work anywhere because you are not considered professional. It went from just locks, ordinary hair, to a dreadlocks. And most of us use the name dreadlocks. But do you know where the name dreadlocks come from? Right? And so also there are a lot of fake ones out. Fake ones, what meaning spoil other people's lives. Listen, there's good and bad in everything. There is good and bad in everything. You cannot say one thing is just good. Again, we are spiritual beings. And because we're spiritual beings, we use in a bad way, we are the bad ones. The tools themselves are not bad, right? The people who use these tools to destroy another's life has absolutely nothing to do with the tools. It's with the spirit of the person. Exactly, but that's in everywhere. But the issue is not that. The issue is we have been made to actually forget and to not believe in our own culture anymore. We believe in Islam and no hard feelings or no whatever with any religion. I delve into all religions. We have been made to believe more in Islam and Christianity and whatever else, and going to Mecca. I've always questioned the idea of that. Going to all these places for pilgrimage, for hajj in whatever religion. When we have Yoruba land, right? So many things being said about Nigeria. When we can go to Nigeria and Ghana, we can go to Jamaica, we can go to the Nyabingi and the 12 tribes, do our pilgrimage. Now, I'm not saying there's no trauma and colonization and pain and issues in all these countries and all these places, but just what if our parents taught us and prepared us to go educate ourselves in Jamaica, to go educate ourselves in Nigeria with the Yoruba people, right? To understand the different aspects of African spirituality and Rastafarian. What if this was the push in the families that we grew up in? Instead of, in many of our countries, being told that if you don't speak English, you are dumb. Or inside of Africa, African pastors, African imams demonizing African spirituality. Inside of Jamaica, Jamaicans themselves looking down on the Rastafarian culture. The awakening is happening. Yes, it is. We actually host an event called the Awakening, but it's happening in Miami. My coach hosted Stormy Wellington. Stormy Wellington, right now, as I speak, is in Nigeria doing her own pilgrimage, going back home. This is how it is supposed to be. Why is it that our only language of being able to connect to each other, even inside of the African continent, is English? We're not pushed to go to South Africa to study. I wasn't. I wasn't, right? I was pushed to come to America to study. I'm not forgetting you, YouTube. I'm sorry. I have to shift the camera so they are in one spot. I don't know about you. They condemn what they don't understand. Yeah, and promote their agenda. Exactly. And I'm not talking about anybody. I'm talking about our own people. Our very own people. Most of us were not taught these things. I wasn't. I was not. Think about it. Most of us now, it hurts me so much when I go on Twitter and I see the Africans and I see the Gambians and I see the people just so focused On this team is playing, that team is playing, on football this, on football that. When at home, their kids are traumatized, in pain, not loved, hurt, maybe no food on the table. What are people doing to build? Nothing. I don't know about you, but me growing up, I didn't see any of these things, right? I didn't see them. Why? Because everything African is considered bad. Even our hair. What is professionalism? Professionalism is everything that's not African either. To the people watching, can you wear your full African outfit? Or can you wear a full Rastafarian outfit and go to work if it's not at a grocery store, the low paid jobs? We don't have time to even develop our own countries. I mean, African countries are not real because the borders were created, but let's just say it's real, right? Because there are tribal wars, just like you have gang wars in America. But then we're told that, oh, don't go to Africa, it's not safe. Whenever I tell people I have to go to Jamaica, I cannot die without going to Jamaica, they say, oh, don't go to Jamaica, Jamaica is not safe. Tell me where is safe. Blessed and love, true inspired. Yeah, there's one thing can't run from. Our lands heal, you must. Most of the pain that we are going through in our lives is because we have forgotten who we truly are, or we have been made to forget who we truly are by our environment, the subliminals we got. How many of you watching grew up hearing that white people are blessed, or God bless white people, or you have to talk white, or you have to what is it called, you have to code switch, or that black people don't cannot work together, African people cannot work together, you have to be in an all white environment, you have to deal with white people, you blah 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 blah. It's not necessarily talking about the colonizer as in the colonizer, right? The issue is we are colonizing ourselves right now. The problem is right now, nobody is colonizing us. We are colonizing us mentally. Mental slavery. Everything Bob Marley ever said is true. Right now, what we have is mental slavery. Because even when I sit here and do the cards, there are people telling me the cards are not real, right? And I listen to a pastor who I like, even though I'm Muslim, and he's saying, oh, the Babalewos, or these people in Africa, or the people believing in their ancestors, is demonic, or astrology is demonic. The people using the cards, they are demonic. Can you mental? There's no colonizer telling us this anymore. I know. I know. But we believe in it still. And we raise our children to believe in these things. We do. To the point where it's hard for a lot of us to come out and say, oh, I do this, oh, I do that, oh, this, I like this. The African leaders are not killing the economy. It's not the African leaders who are killing the economy. We are the African leaders, and the African leaders are us. However, we have been raised, that is the same way that the African leaders have been raised. If they clean the economy, we are also clean the economy. Because what are we doing to have a better economy as a people? Politics is the way it is. Generally, Africa in itself, even our political system, has nothing to do with Black people or African. It's not ours. It is the way it is because we just never thought to change it. We want to wear the suits. We want to be professional and all this stuff, right? And then the idea, exactly what I've been saying, the idea that you have to go out of Africa for vacation is even crazy. The African leaders were raised exactly the way that we have been raised. So even in our generation, if anybody becomes a president who is not healed, who didn't go back to their cultures and understand, it's still the same cycle, the generational cycle. When somebody gets to know themselves and it's open to the spirit world and all these things, most people do not care about politics and television and football and all these things. They don't want to do it. They don't want to be a part of it anymore. Because now you are in touch with something greater. They keep telling us we, the youth, are the leaders of tomorrow, but they refuse to give the youth the chance to. You're not hearing what I am saying. You are not hearing what I am saying. We are the African leaders, and the African leaders are us. There is no difference between me sitting here talking to you and the president of the Gambia right now. Whatever trauma we have faced it together. The African leaders are doing just what they know, what they have been taught. Okay, I'm gonna, because you're not hearing what I'm saying. So I'm gonna see somebody else. These are all things that we have to do with ourselves. We need to start thinking. We need to start thinking. Our leaders have said, the leaders, the people that you don't hear on the news, right? They have talked about not thinking in the box or even thinking outside of the box. Because who made that box? Why do we have to think in a box? We need to start thinking for ourselves. Everything I say, there's something I can back it up with, which is why when I started, I said, if you relate to anything I say, if it makes sense to you, if you are hearing me, Isaac is not hearing me. Isaac is still playing the blame game. Isaac, you need to take accountability and responsibility. If you want the African leaders to change, you, sir, you change. Stand up for your own country. Do what is right. We cannot blame nobody but ourselves. You need to start thinking. If you still love football, like you said, you are still not thinking. The television and the games is thinking for you, sir. I don't know if you left or if you're here, but I hope you will come back to this. You're still playing the victim and playing the blame game, or the African leaders this, or the African leaders that. We still play that game. The African leaders this, the African, but what are you doing? You're listening. Okay, so you are being a victim. You are playing the blame game. The government is not there for you, wherever the government is. African governments, European governments, it is not for us. Listen, if you were rich, if you had money, it doesn't matter if you are black, it doesn't matter if you are African, it doesn't matter if you are white, doesn't matter if you are purple. If you listen to Reverend Ike says he doesn't believe in any color except the color green. I'm in green today. Because green speaks, because money speaks. You as a black man, nobody cares about you. If you are rich, all the politicians will listen to you. Every single person on earth will listen to you. So you need to get out of that victim mentality. Now, you want the African leaders to change? You change and stand up and start speaking, start doing the work, doing the campaign, getting the people together. What can we do? You cannot change people. We are the change that we have been looking for. The saying that the youth are the future leaders of tomorrow, yes, we are. But they won't get out of office to give it to us. No, they won't. I always talk about Andrew Tate. And a lot of people say, oh, Andrew Tate this, Andrew Tate that. But you have to be in his school to actually understand what this man is talking about. I am in his school studying content creation. And I'm telling you, it's not a joke. It doesn't care. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. The work that you're supposed to do to change your life and change yourself, you do it in there. And Tate would always say that we are being told that money doesn't make you happy. But have you ever seen a rich person give away their money? Have you ever seen a rich person give away their money? Politics is money. They don't give away their seat. Why? Nobody gives away their money. Tell me otherwise. Show me a rich person that gave away their money. Even if they gave it to charity, there's still something left. We cannot blame the African leaders. The African leaders are just as traumatized as we are. Anybody in our generation who is not healed, who have gone through the depths of their soul to find themselves when they become president or in the parliament or whatever, they're going to act the same way. It is not the African leaders. It is the cycle of generational pain, of generational hurt, of generational trauma that is being passed down from family to family, generation to generation, African leader to African leader. That is what is happening. Most of these leaders you are talking about, who is going back to their roots, deep into their roots, would go to the forests, to the Yoruba lands, be in the forest, be in touch with their African spirituality and their ancestors. Unless things are falling apart in our life, we don't own anything. We don't even own ourselves. But we have been made to believe in these things, made to believe in politics. Politics is not for color, it's not for African, it's for money. It speaks, but we don't see it. Why are we in Europe? Have you ever asked that to yourself? We are the change that we've been looking for. Why are we in Europe? Why did we come to Europe? That's how we, Europe. I say that without thinking, Europe. In Gambia, that's how we say Europe. Why are we here? I'm not talking about the people whose ancestors or our ancestors that has been taken out of the continent and brought here. I am talking about those of us who have voluntarily volunteer our own mental health and our own mental well-being. We have volunteered to be colonized. Why are we here? Napse. Napse in the Gambia, we say dama napse, like as in missing some place or wanting to go. How can you be napse in a place that you've never been? You say African spirituality, but many Africans don't know what their history on continent. Exactly. Exactly. We are so lost. We are so lost. Some people even go through mental health because of napse. Yeah, yeah, the manapse, especially the boys back home. Yeah, because like I said, it is the idea that is being passed down and handed down to us from generation to generation to generation. You, whatever African country you're from, you know 100% when an African leaves the continent, Gambia, Nigeria, Senegal, Ghana, when we leave the continent, for us to really take care of our mental health, what do we have to do? Go back home. African Americans, they themselves talk about it. I am around African Americans like that. The community that I am in, girl, hold my hand, is predominantly African Americans. And for even them to be in touch with their soul, they go back to Africa, to our practices. The Zen center that I lived in, right? Zen Mountain Monastery. Guys, my battery is dying. I thought I charged it, but I might have to go. I'll be here every day. Oh my God, 1:42, 1 hour, 42 minutes. The rituals, right? The lighting of candles, that has been taken away from us. We thought that if you don't have electricity, which is man-made, even though candles are man-made, but if you don't have electricity and you light a candle at home, you are poor. But when we want to be romantic, what do we do? Light candles. Most of us don't even know what the history of Valentine's Day is. Most of us celebrate Christmas but don't even know what the history of Christmas is. People believe in a white Santa, white Barbie, white Jesus. And white Jesus is not an African thing, right? I used to get so many people telling me, oh, Africans believe in a white Jesus. But then I've seen churches here, African American churches or black churches, both black African from the continent and black Caribbean and black African American, black people. White Jesus. In my neighborhood right here, there's a home, a black family. They have the statue of the white Jesus right in front of their home.
I remember
Yes, we always go past there.
the statue.
So I have to do, say Casa. They worship God, but I divided and it's so bad. That the youth mock, that is all over the continent. Shishami? No. Where is Shishami? I don't know where she... Oh, thank you, Kaboom. Kaboom. I like that, Casa. That's not just the Casa, right? What you just said, Tyrone. And after here, you have to listen to Erica Badu's song. God, dick. It's not just the Casa. It is everywhere. I was raised watching this happen. in my own community where Gambians are fighting. Most of the Gambians here, you knew my ex-husband, right? All right, I'll see you later. I'm about to be done, but I'll be here tomorrow. Most of you, like what Tyrone was saying about the Casa, most of the Gambians that are watching, you know my ex-husband. But there was a fight too. Why? Because he's Mandinka. I am Wolof. I have seen Fulani people not marry. Why? Because the next person is what? Jola. Like I just mentioned, the Manjago. This is what's going on everywhere in Africa. But it's the same thing. The gang wars that we see, even in the hood, when we talk about America, right? This project fighting that project, these people fighting those people, Caribbean people fighting Africans, Africans fighting African Americans fighting this. It is a whole mess. Chaos. Why? The question is not the chaos in itself. The question is why the chaos and who is it benefiting? What income? What amount of money is the chaos bringing in? Like the guy who was saying, Isaac, he just left, right? Talking about the African leaders. You cannot sit at home watching the game of Manchester and Arsenal, yet still you're complaining about the government. Yeah, it hurts. People don't understand the origin of ancient history of humanity. Yeah. What picture do you have? It's given me what's the name of the guy? Nation of Islam, the leader of Nation of Islam. Leader of Nation of Islam. I can't remember his name. But anyway, I got to go now. Thank you. Thank you. Let me read the card before I go. But you have to understand, as a people, Elijah Muhammad. Yes, thank you, Elijah Muhammad. Yes, this picture is giving me Elijah Muhammad. You have to understand that the people that are told poor, those are the places that have our well-being. Hey, listen, I love diamonds. I love me a big home, a beautiful home, lots of money. I'm not going to lie. I love that. But to what extent though? I have seen people who will not walk bare feet outside because you're going to be dirty. People who will not let their children play with the grass and the sand. I have been to the playground and see parents scream at their children because the kids were running to the sand, something natural, something normal. And we think that what's coming to mind is these people who are so much into these sneakers, fighting over sneakers. You step on their sneakers and they can kill you. Mental slavery. Nature is healing. We have everything we need. I still walk bare feet outside. And when I do so, black people are like, oh, you're walking without shoes? Where are your shoes? And I'm just like, "Ooh." My own family, when I told them that I'm going to have a natural bath, I'm going to have a natural bath. and get a midwife. And I'm not going to the hospital. I don't want to take any medication, an epidural, and whatever it is, right? I want to live the moment. I want to feel it. I want to take yoga classes. They thought I was crazy. No lie. They thought I was crazy for wanting a midwife, for wanting a natural birth. So for wanting to give birth at home and not the hospital. Because why? Because we believe in the white coat so much. I'm not bashing anyone. I'm not bashing anything. I'm just giving you food for thought. I'm just giving you something to think about. Because these are things that I have always thought about. But now, when you have gone through hell and back, you don't care anymore. So now I'm just telling you, just think about these things. Why are we made to believe all of these things? Peter John, I like being crazy. You're here watching me. I've been talking for what? Nearly 2 hours. If I'm crazy, baby, you're crazy as well. Thousands of years ago. In the hospital is a money scheme. It is a money scheme. Listen to who's the one who has been talking about it? Serena Williams. Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Mr. Sana. Yes, yes, yes. God bless you too. Welcome, welcome back. But I'm just giving you food for thought. I don't have the answers. Listen, I'm learning. So what I do is basically whoever would listen to me, I just share what I have learned, what I have awakened to, right? What I understood along the way. And that's basically what my group is for. When I am in different groups and different schools, when they send me information, I'll just send it to the Telegram group. And what you do with that information is up to you. We have been told to believe so many things. So you don't believe anything. You don't even believe me. Don't believe anything. You need to find your own way. You listen to people and then you analyze. Okay, this person said that. Okay, this person said that. What is it that works for me? Christianity said Christianity is the way. Jesus is the way. Islam says Allah is the way. You go to the Buddhist monastery, they tell you there's no way. So you have to find your own way. Take everything I tell you with a grain of salt. I am just a young woman on this journey and learning. Right? We've been told so many things. Now pay this scammer so she can buy some more cute list. Yes! Pay me, Bryson Lightfoot. Pay me so I can buy more cute lipstick. I actually want to get a Rasta wig. I also want to. I'm growing my locks, but the locks are going to be freeform, natural. But hey, pay me. Let me get more dresses. I am a scammer. Well, quite interesting that you would know my face and I would scam you, right? Pay me. Let me tell you something. There's nothing anybody can tell me that I haven't told myself already. There is no insult anybody can insult me that I haven't insulted myself already. Let me tell you, I have gone to the depths and the deepest, darkest parts of my soul, baby. So I do not care. I'm here just to share the little that I have learned. The tools that your ancestors, that your grandparents use, go back to your childhood. No, I'm just telling you, I don't care if it's an insult or not, baby. You can insult. The more you come in, listen, attention, good attention is business. Bad attention is business. Even you saying that you're giving me business. You commenting, it helps my algorithm. So, hey, talk away. Enjoy yourself. The tools that our grandparents used, even if you are African American, I mean, it's still here. It is still here because I get all my stuff here in the African American community and Afro Latina, which is not real either, but like Dominican, Puerto Ricans, all I get my materials in terms of rituals, in terms of healing, right? In terms of listening to women or being around women healers who have their own businesses, and it's all centered around healing. You can find the tools anywhere you go, wherever you are. Whatever you want to heal, you can find, right? Because I know 100% that people who relate to the things I say and understand it have gone through adverse childhood experiences. I advocate for therapy. Hell, I nearly became a therapist. I advocate for therapy, but a therapy who understands you, but at the same time, as you are going to therapy, as you're going to church, as you're going to the mosque, find the tools, the herbs that your parents and your grandparents used. Even if you are African American, it is here, right? That African culture is still here. Most of it might be hidden in the black church. You would see it there, but it's still here. Let's read the card. Hi, Yamafai. Ajige. Which Ajige? Ajige? Which Ajige is that? Send me a message. I know that name. Ah, forget the bots. Forget the bots. Forget the bots. Let me read the card again and then we're going to close it for today. But I'll be here tomorrow again. And I'm going to make sure I don't stay for an hour. For 2 hours, I didn't plan to do that. I just wanted to do 30 minutes. But this card is so good. I knew the Isis deck would be wonderful. I first saw it from a friend years ago. And I was like, oh my God, this card is amazing. Talismans of Potency. Let me see, can everybody see? Yeah. Talismans of Potency. Sacred tools and objects can become an extension of your energy field, focusing your power. Let me start again. Sacred tools and objects can become an extension of your energy field, focusing your power and intention, helping you heal the split between spirit and matter, bringing physical matter more deeply into light and life. You are encouraged to work with sacred materials in a conscious way to help your own healing and enjoyment of the material world as part of your spiritual practice. Jehovah, Father, rebuke them all, witches will have no more freedom in Jesus' name, and the Holy Spirit. I absolutely love Jesus. I love Jesus. I love the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit will not rebuke me because I am the Holy Spirit. I am the manifestation of the Holy Spirit. Right? If you go to the Quran, Jehovah, Jesus is Esa. That's my Father. He will not rebuke me. Jesus will not rebuke me, and you cannot rebuke me because I am a whole lot more spiritually strong than you. I'm closer to Jesus than you. And I know Jesus more than you know Jesus. And Jesus knows me more than he knows you. Because Jesus is my Father. I speak in the name of the Holy Spirit. So if you say rebuke the witches, you're rebuking yourself. Because even the Bible is a spell. You want me to bring my Bible and read it for you? The Bible is a spell. You know what's a spell? The spell is the words that we use, right? You are casting a spell on me just by writing that. So I'm throwing the spell back at you. You know what is spiritual warfare? If I get down to that, you will never see the daylight anymore. Spells is the words that we use. So you cannot cast a spell on me because I am that spell. I am the daughter of Jesus Christ. I am the daughter of Jehovah. You cast a spell on me, it goes back to your own family. You know that? Honey, don't see me looking cute here. I can destroy you by the words I say. Bring my Bible right here and cast a spell on you. Right? No, I want everybody to know. It's not about the attention. If that's the way you get attention, you are still very much ignorant. You're very much ignorant. Don't twist it. You can't use reverse psychology on me. You have to understand the words you use. You have to understand what you say when you come to a space. Bye bye, everybody. There's a lot of ignorant people. And people think they're trying to get attention. Yeah. People think they're trying to get. Ah, that went off. All right. Bye 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 bye. My TikTok just went off. Ta-da!